All right. Everybody ready?
Yep.
All right. We'll get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Local Lands, Lawrenceville Unfiltered. My name is Louie Campbell, and you, sir?
Dwayne Volkman.
And
Jeff Metz.
And Sage Metz.
Not Jeffrey?
Going by Jeff now.
Okay, all right. So, you and I, we met through a mutual friend originally. You worked as assistant manager at a mattress store.
Yeah.
And Mark's Mattress, yeah. And a little bit of backstory is you had some issues in your life, and recently you have gotten into ministry, and you've opened a drug recovery center. Well, let's start at the beginning of that and tell me a little bit about your backstory. What got you to here?
So, most of my juvenile life was criminal activity, drug usage. I went to juvenile detention pretty early on in life. My father was basically not in the picture. He spent most of his life incarcerated, and all the way up until right now, and 15 years into the future.
He just got resentenced in federal court, right?
Oh, yeah, 15 years. So most of my life he spent in prison, and I would kind of go on to follow into that same cycle. You know, most of my life I said I'll never end up like that. I'll never, but unfortunately, I did take that road. With that being said, I went to juvenile detention, and I was in the Illinois Department of Corrections basically right after 18. I mean, I was 18 when I got sentenced. And I came home a week after my 21st birthday.
Where were you at?
Taylorville.
Okay.
So, my early 20s were pretty rough. Without going into a crazy amount of detail, I ran pretty wild, and I lived in an abandoned home. And when me and Sage met, she ended up with a DCFS case. Custody was taken. Between me and her, we probably had 11 or 12 felony convictions during the COVID time. We were fortunate enough to get drug court right here in Lawrence. I pled out in Lawrence County, or Richland County, and transferred to Lawrence. She pled out in Richland County, and was on drug court in Richland County right at the same time. So,
I got to tell you, I met you, and then I was informed by your boss at the time, or my friend Tim, that you were going through some of these things. First time I ever met Sage, you were just a wonderful, nice person. So to tell me, if someone to meet you today, either one of you, and to hear these stories, I know you're going to tell more about it, there's no way they could believe that. You guys are just really changed individuals. Really changed. So anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But we pled out the drug court. Both of us graduated successfully, and it's cool. It's cool to see where we're at now, because I get calls from Richland County, the drug court, the guy over at drug court over there, and he refers people to us. And we got to talking the other day, and he was like, he's like, a lot of people don't successfully complete drug court, let alone the ones that do. You don't ever see real success stories hardly. He's like, to see somebody graduated and running this center and really changing their lives and doing something different is really a cool thing.
Yeah, you guys are the exception.
And what is the name of your
to the statistics is what I'm getting. Yeah.
And what is the name of your center?
Rooted in Grace Recovery and Discipleship.
So discipleship is right in there with what you're doing.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
It's one thing for you to get clean. It's another thing to be made whole. You know what I mean? It's a totally different concept, and we're shooting to not only help these guys get clean, because that's just really the beginning before the Lord starts showing you you have all these other problems that you need to work on to really change your life. And we're trying to prepare these men to go home and be men of God, the men of their own household, to their families, to be those people.
You keep saying men. Do you only house men currently at the facility?
So we do have 6 women currently, but as of April 16th, we're going to shut down the women's side and just kind of really focus on the men, and then maybe later, at a later date, find a separate location and then start women back up. But just having men and women at the same location, it just ain't really working.
It's not working out.
No, we really want it to, but our vision is for men and women. It's just we gotta slow it down and.
That makes sense.
Before we get into your current center that you're running, how did these changes come about for you?
So, without talking
for
about,
both of you, of course.
Without in me particular, her case is a little different than mine. But I had been in institutions my whole life. So prison, I had been to. 10,
and how old are you?
I'm 28 now.
Okay.
So I'd probably been to 10, 11 rehabilitation centers, secular rehabs.
Yep.
Before I pled out to prison, I went to Teen Challenge. I was there for 13 months. I never graduated. But are you familiar with Teen Challenge? I'm not. It's a Christ-centered facility. It's 14 months. There's 2 phases, 4 months and then 10 months. And it is. There's 2 in every state. It really is a good thing. The program, I don't have anything bad to say about it, but they teach you a lot about the Bible. They teach you a lot about God, but they don't teach you that you can have a relationship with Him. Mm-hmm. So when I went to that program, I learned, they crammed my head full of all this knowledge of God and the Bible and all these things, but I didn't have a relationship with Him. So I went back into just the mayhem of how I was living.
But that decision is a personal choice.
Absolutely.
No one's going to make that for you. You have to be ready for that.
So I went to a program called, it was actually at the time Resurrecting Recovery Center, and I was like the 4th guy to ever go there. This program had just opened up in Bloomfield, Indiana.
Okay.
And in this program, I was there for 6 months, and it changed my entire life. It changed who I was. It showed me what it was like to have a relationship with Jesus, and it was a lot different.
What was it specifically, or can you put your finger on what it was that?
Well, I wish I could say that's what changed it all, but actually I went back into the same lifestyle. But I had that backing of God then. So when me and her met, we lived a horrible. Our relationship was.
And you met where?
We met in active addiction, exchanging drugs through a mutual friend.
What town was that in?
Here in Lawrenceville.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I had actually went into a diabetic coma. I had actually been, which is kind of a crazy story, but I'm a type 1 diabetic, and basically people had filled my insulin vials up with water. And so for days I was just injecting water.
Oh, wow.
And ended up, my blood, she found me out cold, brought me to the hospital. They transferred me to Good Sam. My blood sugar was
1900.
It was over 19. It was the highest recorded blood sugar Good Samaritan Hospital had ever had where somebody survived.
Wow.
And again, you think those are things that might change a person, but it didn't. Like you said, you got to want it. And when I got out, I just went right back to living that lifestyle.
So whenever we had finally made the change, it's crazy though, because we had had lived this life for so long together, and then finally a big event didn't happen. It was literally just over. It was just we went to church, and then the next night Jeffrey prayed over me in bed, and then we woke up and we're done, and it had been God. God took every desire that we had away from us, and it was just like that.
That's amazing.
I say this a lot, and I tell the guys this, but desperation is a doorway, and your rock bottom is really once you start digging your way out, because everybody's rock bottom's a little different. But I guess we just got to that point where I woke up and I was just man, what am I've wasted my whole 20s. I can't keep going like this.
How old were you when you made this decision?
24, if that, 23, 24 probably.
Okay.
So we've been sober 4 years. 4 years, which it seems like a lot longer than that. But yeah, it's only been 4 years, and we've made so much progress, and it's taken a long time for us to get to where we are now. But we definitely destroyed everything in our life. So I'm definitely very grateful for where we are now and what we have.
Okay. And what prompted you to open the Rooted in Grace Center? How did you get there?
Can you tell everyone where this is located at?
Yeah, so it's right on the town square.
It's right above the Covenant of Grace Church of God.
Here in Lawrenceville.
Yep, here in Lawrenceville.
And what? How did you get? I mean, you stopped using drugs after you prayed over that night. You woke up the next morning and miraculously, literally miraculously,
Yeah, absolutely.
all of your desires for that lifestyle were gone. What did you do next?
Well, we had a lot of charges. We were facing a lot of charges, so that's when we'd gotten drug court. We started working with DCFS to get my son back, and just everything, slowly fell in line. And the whole center came about, I think it was Scott's idea. He had a vision to open up a recovery center.
Scott Polk.
Yeah, Scott Polk, our pastor.
Okay.
Jeffrey's stepdad. So he had a vision to open a recovery center, and it'd been a long time coming. And then I think we moved out, and then they moved out. They got a house, and they moved out, and then it was just a matter of time. We just started, working to get everything together.
Because this was a residential for your family then.
Yeah,
You guys lived
we all
up there.
lived up there at the time.
Right.
Okay.
Just for those of you who may not know, it's a big commercial building. It used to be a
Golden Rule Insurance.
Golden Rule, and then United Healthcare. It takes up a half a block here in town, and so both families, your stepfather, your mother, were living there. You guys were living there. You're talking about putting this together. They move out. They buy a house on the outskirts of town, and you're running the center. But Scott Polk is still running the church.
Yes.
And he's also on your board for the center.
Yes.
So tell us about the center. How do people go there? How do they get enrolled? I understand you take parolees.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and tell us.
So currently we're able to house 18. When we started, we basically began building rooms. We do 2 per room. We were able to build essentially 5 rooms. We could house 10, and then believe it or not, at first, I'll be honest, I thought 4 or 5. If we could keep 4 or 5 at a time, awesome. Before you know it, we had 10, and we're building more rooms. We built 4 more rooms. Now we can house 18.
Okay.
Our first 2 guys in particular, before we had even put out any word that we were going to be opening, had somehow managed to hear what we were doing, and they got a hold of me, and then one got a hold of Sage. So we did an intake process for both of them. They were both volunteered. There's no court stipulations necessarily or anything like that. One of them's got a DCFS case. He's got some things going, but no court obligations to be there.
Are these local men?
One's Richland County, and one came from Springfield, actually.
Okay.
But he's got some ties in Lawrenceville. So the parole situation came because the women's facility, actually, we had gotten our first female resident, and she was on parole. Now, if you're not a vendor for parole, you can have 1 parolee per
Location.
And we had a local from Lawrenceville that was needing a parole site, and had gotten a hold of us. And that pushed us in the direction to begin looking into what it would take to become a vendor for parole.
What is a vendor for parole?
So basically, I mean, it sounds crazy, but parole basically, they'll email me an ROI, release some information of everything about these people, their charges, they'll give me everything up to their counseling and mental health evaluations and all the paperwork.
No, when you say they, you're talking about IDOC, Department of Corrections.
The parole board, the PRB sends them down. There's a lady and a guy in particular that we work with.
Okay.
And when people need a parole site, I'm sure there's others that they utilize, but it seems like we've really become their first attempt. Then most of them are back up down at East St. Louis or Decatur.
Yeah.
But as a parole vendor, it's just stated that we can hold more than 1 parolee.
Okay.
So we can have up to 10 females and then 10 males. But
Did you
like
have to
I said,
go through any type of qualification or
they
checks
just had
or
to
anything?
come down and do an inspection of the place. And for every shower we have, we're allowed 5 more parolees.
Wow.
So we're installing 3 currently, and once we have those, we'll have 5. We can house 25. So I know I say 18 right now, max capacity, which I know it sounds crazy, but once the women's side closes down, and again, we do want to get a separate location for the women at some point. It's not working out under the same building. But once they shift out, we should be able to house 48 men.
How do you get funding to run this facility?
Fundraisers, donations, and I mean the guys, once they're working, they do pay fees, which most of these places, like I don't really want to put any names out there, but most of these sober living homes, they're charging $250, charging the guys $50 to transport them back and forth.
That's $250 a week.
Yeah, $250 a week.
Plus $50 for transportation.
Okay.
So.
And then they're charging them for their food. But by the end of it, these guys don't stand a chance. And they're also doing back pay. So let's say you come in, you don't work for your first month, you're just racking up a bill. So then you're not only paying, let's say $350 a week, you're also paying $100 to make up for the fees that you're owed. Mm-hmm. So how we do it, we don't do back fees. Your first 30 days, we don't want you to work. The first 30 days is for you to have that encounter with the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's all it's about. After 30 days, once you are able to work, we start helping them find jobs. Once they're working, it's $200 a week, and then transportation's covered, food's covered, everything is covered through us.
Do you have a facility there to eat at then, kitchen and?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a massive day room and a room with a ping pong table and foosball table.
Nice.
And we got a nice. It's I don't know.
So
Upstairs is
one of y'all or somebody goes to Walmart and brings food home and it's prepared there at the.
So we do
Fortunately-
utilize a lot of the food pantries around here.
Okay.
We do utilize the food pantries, and a lot of the guys do have link cards.
Okay.
So
So they'll do some of their own shopping.
yeah.
Okay.
and the guys. They do work together.
And then we do buy some food and meat and stuff to put in there.
Okay.
And we supply all the household essentials, toilet paper, paper towels. We do supply all that too. So
And you're running this as a nonprofit.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you guys take a salary for? Because I understand you left your career. You were in car sales like me. I tried to actually recruit you at our dealership.
Yeah.
At one time. I kept bragging on you to the sales manager. I was like, man, you got to hire this guy. But you went a different direction with different dealership. But you had looked like pretty successful run in car sales. And then you left that recently to devote. You told me you were leaving that to devote all of your time to your ministry. So how are you making a living?
So I'm working, kind of part time. There's a guy that's gotten really tied into the ministry, and he does construction, and he's starting to employ a lot of the guys in house.
Okay.
And so I'm just basically on a salary. He's paying me a little salary to help, and that's getting me by. And on top of Sage, she's got a pretty good thing going with the
Grooming? Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Okay. Where do you do that at?
I do it up at the building as well.
Okay.
I'm like, have you ever been in there, the Summers thrift store?
Yes.
I got a little room kind of in the back, and I do my grooming back there. So
I don't know if people know that.
You're on camera.
Talk a little bit about that.
Plug your business a little bit. Yeah.
Well, I have a little groom shop in the back of the thrift store. I'm kind of on the corner of, like, my door lines up directly across the street from Ella's gym.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many doors on that building. People are like, I don't know where to go. So that's kind of where I'm at.
So you're on the corner of, for those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
would be State Street
Yep.
and 11th.
11th, yep. And as long as you come into the thrift store with your dog, they'll get you to me. So
Okay.
And what's the name of your business?
it's Metz Pets Grooming.
Okay.
I'm independent. I'm local. I'm the only one in town. So
Okay. I was not aware of that till
Yeah.
just now.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of advertising because it is just me. I do pretty well for myself. I am booked about 3 weeks out usually at a time. But my sister is actually going and getting her certification, and she's going to be grooming with me. So maybe when she, is up and going, I'll advertise more. So
Great. Yeah,
I stay
remember.
pretty busy.
Well, I run the Lawrence County Illinois news page,
Uh-huh.
and I featured your business as a Monday Business Spotlight several months ago. I don't do the Monday Business Spotlight anymore because I've transitioned to actual paid sponsorships from a couple local businesses.
Yeah.
But I remember I did put you as one of the spotlights on there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Before we transition into talking about the treatment of these gentlemen, I would like to to talk about an incident with one of your residents that happened to me. I live 2 blocks from your place, and I have cameras all over my house. And I had my son called me up one evening. I was out doing some errands in town. It was night, and he's kind of frantic. He's like, "There's a guy sitting on the front step of the house. I don't know if he's trying to get in, but he's just sitting there smoking a cigarette." So I dart home. I was just a few blocks away, and I pull up, and I let the gentleman know that it was my home and that he didn't need to be there. I won't go into the full conversation that happened there, but I didn't know what was going on, but he understood that it was private property real quickly. But the more we got to talking, he explained to me that he was from your facility. And I happen to work, my career was in corrections, so I know a little bit about how parole works, and the fact they have to have a listed residence. And at the time, I wasn't aware that you were up and running yet. I knew that that it was being talked about. So long story short, the gentleman says he doesn't want to go back there. He was having an issue with another resident. He wanted me to contact his parole officer. I have some numbers of some parole officers in my phone. I did call one of them, no answer. So I called your father because I knew he was part of the operation up there, or your stepfather, Scott Polk. Scott, I think, may have called you. I don't think I spoke to you that night. I don't recall. But anyway, again, long story short, the gentleman didn't want to go back. You guys couldn't make him go back. So I offered him a ride to the local police station. I took him there, explained the situation, and I left. And from what I understand, from what we were talking about before we come on camera, he did end up going back in, correct? So the reason I bring that whole story up is if something like this happens in the future to another resident in town, what can they do? What should they do?
So our numbers are for sure public, and they are more than welcome to call. That particular incident, because we are a vendor for parole. So some of these guys, as you know, some of them do come in and they want to make the change. Some of them they don't. That in particular one, he's from Robinson area, so he was kind of local, and he it's a requirement to attend all the meetings. Well, he had decided he wasn't going to be attending any meetings. Mm-hmm. So, and the guy that he was having an issue with, we removed also.
Okay.
But when he left, we immediately tried to contact parole. And normally I think parole would have been all over it. The agent, at least that we're working with now, he's all over that. But it was pretty close to Christmas time, I believe.
Yeah, well, so when I called up Scott, he must have called you, and then you tried to reach out to parole. I didn't have his specific parole agent's number, and it just so happens the one I have on my phone, I think, has since retired, so that's probably why I couldn't get an answer. But again, if someone has this issue, can they call up your center directly? Okay.
Well, they can call either my number or her number, which is on the Facebook page. It's on in the garden.
I'll grab your numbers from you when we're done, and if it's okay with you, I'll put them on the screen for everybody to see.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
And I do want to say the guy was not disrespectful. He was respectful. He just wanted to go back to prison and finish his time. And I think he was one of those that he would have only had to have done a few more months. And then he would have gotten. And
in that scenario, we had, before he even left, we were already trying to contact parole. Okay. But he went ahead and just took off anyways. We couldn't keep him there.
Yeah, you don't have, the doors aren't locked. You can't keep them there. They're free to come and go. Yeah.
In a scenario where we do terminate them, which we've only had to do that once before, we call parole. We don't let the resident know that they're being terminated. We just call parole. So parole will come get them. So that way they're not loose on the street bothering, the town or whatever.
Right.
Okay. And that's what parole told us to do. Right. That's how they want us to handle that. And
so you're active in that. You monitor that, and if you feel there's a need, you normally. But this guy just decided that night to.
Well, like I said, he wasn't going to meetings. We had a Celebrate Recovery that it was a Wednesday night, and we have Celebrate Recovery on Wednesday nights, which we lead at the church, and. we noticed that he wasn't there, and so
He was sitting on my door.
he was at
on my
he was at
doorstep.
your house.
Yeah.
And your house looks kind of like a commercial
It does.
property at one point, so he probably didn't know he was at a
Yeah.
And since
Yes,
then,
that's true.
we've became very picky with our screening process and interviewing and trying to really figure out who wants it and who's just trying to, it's the next place to go. And
Not that
Yeah.
when we started, it was kind of like which I shouldn't have been like this, but I kind of had this feeling like I need to fill this place up. You know what I mean? We have these rooms built, and I want to have as many people as I can. Well, now we're at 17 out of 18. I've got one bed that's in holding for somebody, and then we've got quite a lengthy waiting list already.
Okay.
So,
But now you're probably looking at like, I need to get this. I need to get a handle on all we got going on before you move on.
And we have
to
a
the next.
really good
Okay.
group of guys. I don't think there's one guy up there that we have to be worried about. I mean, they are just all on fire for the Lord
Good.
right now.
you go up there, they're cooking meals for each other. They're all eating together.
It's a
they're all-
discipleship.
Good.
They look at each other like brothers in
Right.
Christ.
Great.
And that's what our goal was.
And
So
I do want to make clear to everyone too that your stepfather Scott, he responded, he answered my call, and he was very helpful with me too. So it didn't end up being a problem overall, but I just wanted to get that out there to people that they can call your place and get that dealt with. So you want to move on to the
yeah, well,
discipleship part of it?
a couple things actually. These guys are coming. Not everybody comes to your center as a parolee.
Correct.
Correct. Okay, so some people come there on their own volition.
Yeah, off the street.
Okay, and some are coming there because they have to have a place to go and they are, directed to your facility. Do you get a lot of pushback on the faith component, meaning people that are sent to your center and they're like, listen, I just want to do my time, I want to do my parole, I don't want this God stuff.
I get that question all the time. So here's the deal: by being a vendor, we're not the only vendor. These guys, if they don't believe in Christ, they don't have to come to our program. And one of my stipulations for parole specifically is we have a rules and guidelines. The top of our thing says Christ-centered, faith-based recovery center.
Good.
And we ask that swearing all those things, like you conduct yourself in a Christ-like manner when you're in the program. So it's a lot. Our stipulations are a lot tighter. These guys can go to East St. Louis home. They can go to Decatur home. They can get their phone the same day. They can go to work. They can do exactly what they want, and that's totally fine if that's what they want. If they want to come to our program, they get that list, and they're going to agree to our rules. They'll sign off on it,
Great.
and they will take a picture of that, email it back to me, and that's how from there I can determine whether we want to accept them or not.
So they sign that paperwork with
So you
the
don't-
parole officer.
you don't get pushback
while they're
on
in
the
prison.
faith aspect.
Or
So-
with their counselor in prison.
Yes.
Okay, good.
So they know what they're stepping into, and that was a big thing for me. I don't want these guys thinking they're just gonna, you know what I mean? Because it is that first 30 days you tell a guy no phone, you tell them all. When they get there and they hear that, if they didn't,
Yeah, they got to know up front.
It's kind of like a
Yes.
two-way street, though. It's like we don't want to accept people that aren't Christians or people who don't believe in God, but we just did. He was a Odinist, and since he's been in the program, I mean, he's done a complete 360. I mean, and I would say probably changed his faith.
we got a
So-
big thing on giving everybody, for the most part, a shot.
Okay.
Well, there are some limitations, but we also have to believe, because it wasn't that long ago that really whether we believed in God or not, we were living a life that definitely didn't scream that.
Yeah.
And these people, they can come in and get a hold of what we got, and you can see some of those people really be some of the biggest success stories when they were.
You were one of them, and
Yeah.
they see an example
Which is-
of someone that can change. And
Which is why they probably listen to you.
Yeah, so now if they come in with a closed heart, trying to influence others, that's when we'll step in and say, all right, you got to go somewhere else.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
We're not afraid to terminate somebody if we have to, but we are
Yeah.
willing to
Because
give
we have,
everybody a chance.
17 other sheep in there that we have to protect,
Yeah.
that we feel like are our responsibility.
100%. I believe that. Yeah. So there's a huge gap between you prayed over your wife one night and the next morning you woke up with no desire to your opening a center. You didn't just start the next day planning to open up your Rooted in Grace.
No.
What happened between those two things?
So I told you about resurrecting, and that is a big part of what led me to do what we're doing. So we woke up, and then they gave us drug court, which was awesome.
2 years. I don't know if you guys know drug court, but drug court is either it's 18 to 24 months of intense drug testing, substance abuse counseling, and court every single week. So you get drug tested 3 times a week, you have to do counseling once a week, and you have to go to court once a week and be seen by the judge.
One other thing, just for the record, too, before we put out the drug court, we didn't know we were going to get drug court. And we could have been running around getting high. We could have been, like, my whole life. If I would have known that I was about to be possibly incarcerated, I would have been running around using drugs. And this time, we made a decision long before we took drug court that we were going to get clean. And we stopped using. And that is a big part of why they gave us drug court.
And at that time, you still didn't know if you were going to get drug court or go to prison.
Yep,
That's the point you're making, is that you're like, you didn't do it just because you were thankful you got drug court. You did it because you wanted to do it, and then those events happened.
Yes.
And then we decided to go to rehab for the court. And
hard to get in,
we were
so
already clean before we went to rehab, but it was, we had to go to rehab, and we had to lie to the rehab center and tell them that we were still using, because if not, that they want to accept us.
Wow.
So we had a lie to get into rehab. We got into rehab, did our 30 days, got out, and then I think we were still had like 2 months before we even got accepted into drug court. So
now you were in Knox County drug court?
No, I was in Richland County.
Or Richland County, and you were in Lawrence County. Is it true that they typically don't allow people who are in drug court to be together? Is that typical?
That's why.
Were you able to because you were in 2 different drug courts? And before you answer that, I'll say this. I know of one other couple here in Lawrenceville that were in Lawrenceville drug court together. And this is why I asked this. The lady used to work for me at our restaurant, and she said that they had made an exception and let them be together. And they're both Christ following, from what I understand now. They actually got married afterwards. I'm not going to mention their names. But I'm just asking if that's typically frowned upon.
Yeah, so we were married first before we accepted drug court, and we both got drug court in Richland County, but he had to transfer his to Lawrence County, and I had to stay in Richland County because we were married, and they wouldn't let us be on the same drug court team.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, because of the counseling and stuff, they wanted it to be completely separate from spouses, just in case they don't want you to hold back anything.
Which is a really good, because it was group counseling. So we're a married couple in a we can't really open up about it. That's their worry.
Well, that's great that you accepted that willingly without.
She's the one who had it tough because she had to go to Richland County 3 times a week. I had it pretty easy.
Just
walked across.
But you did try to fight the system. You went along with it. Okay. That says a lot about you, I believe.
So, in your program, you have a lot of it's Christ-centered. But what kind of drug counseling and addiction counseling is provided to the individuals?
So we do have a private substance abuse counselor on site, and also parole stipulations and those things. A lot of these guys have to be in substance abuse counseling.
Okay.
Which she works. We just got her about 2 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago. But before that, we were taking them all to the health department for their substance abuse. But a big thing is, and for us, when we say Christ-centered, that means a lot to us. So we believe that Jesus is the solution, and I've tried it in so many different ways. And I tell all the guys, one of the first things I tell them is, look, once an addict, always an addict, and all these things. I don't, and it's maybe it's just my belief, but I don't believe in any of that. I believe he who the Son sets free is free indeed, and I live by that. And I don't believe that you have to be an addict for the rest of your life. And I know that based off of my own heart and where I've been.
I agree with you. 100%. I've told people so many times that I don't believe in the old adage, once an addict, always an addict, because I believe that the same God that raised a stinking, rotting corpse out of the grave, Lazarus, he's probably powerful enough to take away your desire to do a drug.
He sure is.
So our substance abuse counselor, her name's Annie, and she does an assessment with the men and the women, and then from the assessment, she'll find them, action plans to go by, because not everyone needs anger, or not everyone needs codependency, or grieving and stuff like that. So based on their assessment is what she gives them to work on. And then also Celebrate Recovery is a self help step study, and it really digs deep in, people's past.
Christ-centered.
Yeah, Christ-centered.
Yes,
It's like AA and NA, but it puts Christ in it.
Yes.
Because, if you're not getting all the stuff that you started using out and, dealing with it and overcoming it, then you might just end right back up where you are.
Yeah, there's a root of the reason why you do drugs, or you're addicted to alcohol, or you're addicted to pornography or whatever. And that root, in my belief, and I know your belief as well, is a lack of Jesus. But there's something they're missing, and if you fill that hole with what's missing, you're not going to want to fill it with methamphetamines, marijuana, whatever the situation is. So. Yeah, I agree. I think the Celebrate Recovery program. I used to attend meetings with a friend of mine to support him, and I found out that, it was at a church I attended, and it's a powerful program. It's about all your hurts, your habits, and your hang-ups, and we all have hurts, that could use that kind of healing.
We love it. It's a powerful ministry. Absolutely.
It is. Yeah, and you guys are doing a powerful thing. I've been watching from a distance, and every time I talk to Scott, he's like, man, I'm so proud of Jeffrey. And these guys are doing so well. He speaks highly of you as well, but he's just so proud of you guys and what you're doing, and I am too. So, but you got into ministry in the time between your recovery, your overnight recovery, literally overnight recovery, and opening the center, because as I recall, you started stepping up and preaching at the church, and became the youth pastor there for a while, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
So I started out on the worship team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all right. I'm okay on the piano. I can play a little bit and sing a little bit. So I started to get involved slowly by getting back on. They needed a piano player, so I found my calling going in that direction.
But you don't play the guitar like Scott does?
I can play, and I'm probably just as good as him too.
Oh,
really.
okay.
Hey, Scott.
But
But Scott's already on the guitar, so they needed a piano. Got it. Okay.
He can't play the piano, and so I just find myself there.
All right.
But that's where it started, and then my whole life. I knew that the Lord had a plan for me, and whether that was I didn't know what direction He was exactly calling me to, but I had a pretty good idea. So some things took place. Scott was having some health issues and was needing somebody to step up and preach a little bit. And so quickly I got kind of thrown, not that I didn't want to, but I kind of got thrown into pastoring, and I found that I really enjoyed it. In fact, I enjoy it probably a lot more than I do playing music.
Yeah.
And so I'm now the associate pastor there, and I was the associate pastor long before I decided that we were going to plant this recovery center.
And the recovery center is the second level, the church is the lower level.
First level, yeah.
Okay.
It's
Which
really
makes it a
interesting.
lot easier because the guys just got to come downstairs. They don't have to. They don't got an excuse of why they didn't make it to
Yeah, my
church.
car didn't start,
Yeah.
or couldn't get a ride,
It's so unusual for a couple to come to their faith simultaneously. You follow of the writer and pastor Lee Strobel.
Yeah.
He wrote the book The Case for Christ, and the whole backstory of that is, he was an atheist, hardcore atheist. He had gone to law school. He was an investigative reporter for a Chicago newspaper, and his wife started going to church, and he was like, well, whatever, something to keep her busy while he works, right? And then she started donating money to the church, and he's like, whoa, put on the brakes. You're donating my money to that? So he went into using his, research ability to disprove this Jesus guy. And along the way, he proved to himself that, oh, wow, he not only existed, but he really is the Son of God. He really did die on the cross and was resurrected 3 days.
Yeah.
So the point is, so many people in a couple, it's one person praying over and redeeming the other one, through prayer, and that other one comes to faith later. You guys came to faith really pretty close to the same time then.
No, the odds of one person getting clean off meth are very low. For a couple to get clean off meth together, I mean, it's
Astronomical.
it's very unheard of.
It's all, and I say it all the time. It wasn't our willpower. It's just the power of Jesus Christ.
Absolutely, I believe that.
Without Him, we wouldn't. It's all glory to God because I've tried it myself many times. I know she had tried it herself many times, and until we decided to make a decision to really surrender our life over to Christ,
That was the difference.
100% believe it. I mean, he says, my yoke is easy, my load is light, and the weight of addiction is too much for you to carry. You have to not say, help me carry this, but I can't carry this, carry it for me. And I believe, I mean, I have a story myself, 21 and a half years clean myself. And it came through prayer all in one night as well. And I quit everything cold turkey. So I think it's 100% believing what you're doing. So thank you guys for doing it.
We like to share our story as often as we can because we don't want, some people come in and they see me and Jeffrey and they think we're spoon-fed Christians and that we've never had any hardship. So we would like to, let them know that we've been in their shoes and that recovery is possible and that, we're just like them. And,
kind of what you said at the beginning,
we're called to be a witness and we have to, we have to share our story and we have to.
Yeah, you went through it for a purpose. Like you said earlier, you knew God's had a plan for you. And in Jeremiah 29:11 said, I know the plans I have for you are the plans of good and not of bad to give you an expected end, right? And that's not word for word paraphrasing. You can look it up the verse yourself. But that's one of my favorite passages in the Bible, And maybe the plan was to have you experience all of this stuff so that you had a strong testimony and you had a stance so that a person going through addiction and active addiction can look at you and they hear your story and like, wow, he'll get me.
And we're big on that too, not just ourselves, even though we do a lot at the center. The guys that we bring up there to teach, I got a guy in particular on Monday nights, he's lived a lifestyle like you wouldn't believe. I mean, he's on 20 years house arrest.
Oh, wow.
So it was either 20 years in prison or 20 years house arrest.
And God moved in that situation.
By God's grace.
Yeah.
But he comes up there every Monday night and he has a study with these guys, or a little bit of a step study, But everybody that we bring in, for the most part, they've lived that lifestyle. They can relate to the guys, and the guys can really connect with who we're bringing in. And we're really particular on who comes in. But
So tell us a typical day. I guess it's different from the guys that first come in the first 30 days versus after that if they've got a job. Maybe start from the beginning. Tell us what their days are like during that first 30 days, and then what happens after that whenever they're able to get.
So when they wake up is at 7:30, 8 o'clock. All the guys are doing devotions together. From 9 to 10, it is chores. They do their chores. And then they have a...
Do you assign these chores then?
Yes,
Okay,
and they
fine.
change weekly.
Okay.
We actually have so many guys now, we actually have to have them start cleaning the church and the fellowship hall and other places because,
That's good. Yeah. Yep.
So then they have a little bit of leisure time between that, and then they do classes from 1 to 3. And then they have a little bit more leisure time, and then of course we have activities on, through the church about every night except for Friday and Saturday.
These classes from 1 to 3, what kind of classes are they?
So one guy in particular, it's called Discipleship Essentials, which in the church you went to, you should be familiar with that book. They push that.
I didn't go through the discipleship program.
But you're familiar.
I'm aware of it. Yes.
So that's one of the classes they do, and
Life
we've only
recovery, step studies, and then they might work on their packets from Annie, the substance abuse counselor.
Okay.
But they're doing some type of work on themselves from 1 to 3.
So when you say the package, some of them may have like anger management assignments. Some of them may have,
Dealing with
drug.
grief,
Yeah.
or,
Okay. Now you said after that you mentioned that there are activities. What did you mean by that?
more like services. So Tuesday night we have Bible study at 6.
Okay.
Wednesday, celebrate recovery at 6. Thursday we have food at 5. Service at 6.
And they're required to attend these?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Unless they're working.
so after your 30 days.
So that's kind of what happens during the first 30 days. After the 30 days, are they still required to go through all these things unless they have a job?
Yes.
So work is the priority there.
Yeah.
If they've got a job and it declares they can't be at Celebrate Recovery at 6 o'clock, then of course they don't have to be there. And unfortunately, right now, which we've got a vision for 3 years down the road, of course. But right now, a lot of the guys do have to work nights at Toyota. It's just that's just the truth of the.
So they're doing the things that you just mentioned during the day, or do they get to sleep in?
So they still have to do their chores. They still have to stay up in the morning at 8 to do devotions. If they get off at 4, they can go back to bed if they want, but they have to get up at 8 and they have to do devotions. They still have to do their packets with the substance abuse counselor. It's up to their leisure when they want to do it.
Okay.
But really the only thing that they're excused from is the services and stuff if they're not there.
So you say they work at Toyota at nights. What's the latest shift out there?
So they they have to clock in at 7:15 and they get off at 6:30.
6:30
a.m.
a.m. Okay.
So 7:15 p.m. to 6:30 a.m.
And you still have things for them to do at 8 o'clock in the morning then.
Okay. And we're working towards, like on Mondays, we'd like to introduce a morning Celebrate Recovery, find someone to come in and do that. For the night shift workers in particular.
Yeah. Okay. How long is the program? At what point? I know I'm kind of fast forwarding through the whole program, but you mentioned what kind of classes they do and services in the church. And I imagine they're required to do what they can while they're working, like you just said. But at what point is the program over for them, and then where do they go from there?
So 7 months right now. And I tell all the guys we're in a trial and error phase. At some point, I would like to make it a 2-phase facility. But right now, it's 7 months to graduation. Do they have to leave at 7 months? Absolutely not.
Okay.
So we've formed a construction crew, essentially, to work with the center, and our plan is to, as soon as possible, we'd like to buy 1 to 3 properties and make them into transitional homes. So once you graduate, you get a certificate. We have a property where you can go and stay
with other graduates.
It's only going to be, if you don't get a certificate, there is no living there. So it's the guys that graduate, they have a place to go. It's a transitional housing for them. And I'd like to say that's a 1-year plan. Of course, we don't have any graduates yet because we've not been operating for 7 months.
Haven't been operating for that.
But that's our kind of our goal, and the only requirements then would be church services, as long as it doesn't interfere with work. We would still have a requirement for Thursday and Sunday services, and probably Celebrate Recovery on Wednesday nights if they're able.
No. What if someone, parole doesn't last for 7 months? Parole typically can last for even multiple years. Mm-hmm. What happens in those situations where they're paroled to your facility? Do they have to transition somewhere else?
No, they would they would stay longer.
Okay.
And then also, like, if we don't do the transitional housing, we're of course going to let them stay there. And I've been doing some outreach with some landlords, and I'm close to one, and he's been great on tell me what he has available, so then we can maybe transition these people from that into their own apartment once of course they have a job and they're paying their fees on time, because I don't want to put my neck out for someone that ain't paying their fees with me. They probably ain't going to pay their fees with the landlord.
Right,
so to me,
you'll give them an honest reference whether it's good or bad.
I don't want to hurt that connection that I have with him. So he's been a great help, and I think that he's going to be a great aspect to Rooted in Grace too, on helping house these people.
They can't go anywhere else, even if they want to, while they're on parole, without that parole agent's approval. So they're going to have to check out the places that you might have for them, or if they've found somewhere else for themselves.
And our ratio right now is about 50-50. We probably have about half of them are parolees, and the other half are people that are local from the streets.
And
so roughly 9 and 9 then.
Yeah.
Now, I've been asking a lot of questions and saying how much I support you and everything, but one question I want to ask is, because the community is concerned, about this, what would you say to the members of the community when they find out that we've got people who are coming right out of prison and staying on the town square? What can you say to them to make them feel more at ease with this being in our town square?
Well, a lot of them aren't even allowed to leave. You know what I mean? We have a very strict policy that a lot of them do stay there, they go to work, and they come back. We have really good security. We have Corson, so we have an alarm that gets set at 10:30. No one can leave after 10:30. They walk downstairs, the alarm gets set off, and the cops show up.
Motion sensor.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have motion censored. We got, we got cameras plastered all over the place. So within that aspect, we
That's
are
good.
looking out for the public as
And
well.
I would
How long-
imagine you have some type of a relationship with the local police.
How long have
Yeah.
you had the stat security system set
Since
up?
we live there also.
Okay.
It's been in the building whenever they bought it, so.
So, okay. Well, did it alert you when the gentleman left the facility?
No, because we were downstairs in the sanctuary
We were there.
Oh.
doing Celebrate Recovery, and he skipped out on the meeting, and
Okay.
Took off, so.
So, what kind of practices could you put in place to prevent that scenario from
So
happening?
I've started doing a head count now. So the minute service starts, I'm constantly counting, make sure all 17 are
Someone
there.
didn't sneak out the
Yeah.
back or something. Yeah.
Once I do my head count, I'm going, trying to find out where they are.
Okay.
So,
we're so early on. It's me and Sage doing everything.
It's a lot of learning experience. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at some point, we're going to have a graduate there that we trust, that'll stay on site, and that's going to help us do a lot of the monitoring.
Kind of like a prison trustee.
well, that was the
Yeah,
plan
okay.
to begin with. We wanted someone to stay on site 24/7. We had a couple people in mind, and it just didn't work out the way we wanted it to. So my mom actually lives there full time. She's on the side where the women are.
Oh.
So my mom does watch the women, and we also, but the men, we just haven't found the right person for that yet. So God will show us eventually. So.
Yeah. I asked earlier if you had a good relationship with the police. Are you?
So-
Go ahead.
Because I did tell you one. So yeah, we were problems in society at one point, and the police are pretty supportive of what we've got going on.
Good.
Illinois, though, on the other hand, is the laws are a little odd. We wanted to really get connected with, especially the K-9. So if we have suspicion of any drugs in there, I could call the K-9, have them come in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's some guidelines that don't meet to where we can do that. But we do have a good relationship. We've had one incident where drugs, we believe, were being
Brought into the facility.
yes, and I called. It was actually on
Christmas Day.
Christmas Eve, it was Christmas Day, and I had to call an officer,
Yeah.
and they came in and
The K-9 officer? Or?
no, it was
Okay.
just Doodle at the
Okay.
time came in, but
Okay.
Okay.
so they do we are fast to call them because first off, if somebody's bringing in drugs, that's a detriment to everybody in there.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Secondly, it's a church.
Yeah.
I mean, above all, even though it's upstairs and it's a recovery center, we're right above the church. And
So are you working to get whatever guidelines you have to fulfill to where you can give authorization for a K-9 to come in?
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to get that accomplished?
there aren't any. And I
Is
talked
it
to-
because they don't have the legal right to come in? Is
Yeah.
that what it is? Okay.
Yep. And I tried to talk to Daniel Schinkel, who gave me some advice, and there isn't a loophole. There
Okay.
isn't a way to make it work.
So because of these individuals have a Fourth Amendment right against search and
Yes.
seizure,
Yeah.
Yes. And it's a residency. I guess.
do the parolees still have that Fourth Amendment protection while they're technically under state custody while they're
Well,
under
see,
parole, right?
we could
Yeah.
go in there and we could search as much as we want, but at the end of the day, if they could hide it in the kitchen, they could hide it in the bathroom. I mean, we could. That's why we were like looking more towards the K-9 because the K-9.
Is
You
it
find it a
because
lot
you have
faster.
parolees mixed in with non-parolees? Is that part of what it is? Because I thought as a parolee, a parole officer could come in.
Yeah, and the parole officer could too. It's just the local police, the K-9 couldn't go in there and do a search just if we had
Okay.
suspicions.
Now, if they give us permission,
Yeah.
I think if the resident has to say yes. To
yes.
But you're talking common areas too.
Yeah.
Could you have that possibly as part of the agreement they sign when they come in?
We talked about that too. We tried, and it just seemed like something they weren't wanting to get
Because
into.
I guess at any time they can double back and still assert their Fourth Amendment right. And
Yeah.
say, I don't submit to
Because
search.
I figured if we could put something into the intake paperwork stating that we can.
Yeah,
Because I know a lot of guys that have centers in Indiana, and in Indiana they don't have to sign anything. They can bring them right in. They'll call them, and I know a guy in Bloomfield who had a connection with the K-9. He'd call them anytime, and they were more than happy to go up there.
So it varies state to state. Is what you're saying.
But it would make everything a lot easier if they knew that we did K-9 searches, randomly.
Yeah.
And
Can you do that in the common areas though? If since it's your facility.
I still think he said no.
I
Because
think
that's why I kept saying, I'm like, but we own the building. It's it's our building. But
So you've looked into it, and you may look into it further and see.
Well, I never thought about. I think the common area we would probably be able to give between me and her give permission
in
to
the common areas, just not in their personal bedrooms.
Yeah.
or even if you have
Right.
it, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's good. So, do you have, or do you even accept people into your program who have a violent criminal history?
We do. It's case by case. It's.
Go ahead, answer that, and then go ahead. I interrupted you.
It's
Sorry.
like I said, we want to give everybody a chance. There are some. I mean, if you've got an arson, we're probably going to go ahead and deny you. We don't want to risk anything happening to the building. There are some, but we've got a lot of guys in there right now with domestic charges and
Domestic charges,
stuff like that.
no serious like rape, murder.
No,
Okay.
No sex offense?
no.
Okay.
Well, you specifically chose not to allow sex offenders into your program, correct? Okay. All right. And I think the community would really like to know that is a strict
Well,
policy.
mainly we
And there
also
are
have
more-
the church. You know what I mean? We have
So you've got children coming in there.
Children, yeah.
There are more stringent parole rules for a sex offender.
yeah. So no
They-
children, sex offenses.
They couldn't come there because
Yeah.
of that. Okay.
Okay. That makes sense. So, how can, I know your plan is to open a women's facility, and you're closing the current facility in April, May?
April. Yes.
April. So we're just a couple months away from that. So do you have an idea how much it's gonna cost? Or I guess you haven't found a facility yet, right?
Yeah, so we really plan on just buying a house, like a 4-bedroom house, that obviously, we could afford. So we got to take on, a house payment plus utilities and stuff. And so we're really just waiting for the right thing to fall in our lap.
Or if somebody would put it into their will to will you a house.
Yeah, so that would be even
Yeah,
better.
that's
Absolutely.
or if they currently have one they want to donate.
Yeah. That would be.
Hey,
and we've also
we laugh, but it could happen.
It could.
Someone could feel led to help your facility out. That's possible.
Because our vision was men and women, and we just don't want to, give up on the women because it's needed in the area too. I mean,
didn't you have like a co-ed for families at one point, or
no.
or you're going to, or
What do you mean by families? Like,
So, like-
mom and children?
mom, dad, and children? so
Dad's
the
on
family-
parole, but he wants to live with the family, but he can't live with them at a certain location for whatever reason.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So how can people support your organization, the Rooted in Grace, and how can they, if someone wanted to donate, but they wanted to donate specifically for the purpose of opening a women's shelter, can they designate that in their donation?
Sure.
Okay, and how can they donate to you?
How do they donate monetarily, and what if they want to just bring supplies? Tell everyone how
So
to do
I
that.
think we still have a GoFundMe up on the on GoFundMe. You could make a check directly to Rooted in Grace and drop it off at the church or the thrift store, because the thrift store is open every single day of the week except for Mondays and Sundays. And then also supplies, household items.
Bring them by the thrift
Yep,
store.
just bring it by the thrift store or the church.
So make sure that you tell them it's for our ID.
Yeah, let the thrift store know that it is for Rooted in Grace.
Well, we do have listeners and viewers that are outside of this area. Do you have any online, like PayPal, Venmo, things like that are specific for the
Not
facility?
set up just for the center at this time.
Okay.
But they could call the number that you're going to put up if they were interested in
Or they
donating.
can mail a check to an
Find out.
address, and
Yeah,
we can put
absolutely.
the address on the screen. So, what is that address, by the way?
It's going to be 712 11th Street.
Okay.
Does the church, is it supporting the center in any way at all?
So it has the first, whenever everyone came in for the first 30 days, they couldn't work. So for the first 3 months, the church did support the center and paying for everything. But now I think all of our guys are working, all except 2 guys. No, 4 guys, because we have 2 that can't work yet. So, but we got all guys working except for 4. So
okay.
Now,
so they're bringing in
it's
income.
self-sufficient now.
Okay.
Should be. Our utilities are crazy there.
Yeah.
I think we used 3,300 in electric last month.
Wow.
Employers are naturally hesitant to hire certain individuals with history. What if you have a person that just can't get it hired because for whatever reason because they're past?
Well, we do have 2 on disability or that are waiting for disability. But again, it just came that recovery's for everyone, and this is a discipleship center, and we're not out to make money. We're here to save lives. So if one person gets a free ride the whole 7 months, as long as
We just have to be careful how we do that as far as ratios. We can't have 12.
You can't have all. You're right.
Yeah.
You can't have
Do you
everyone
have
working.
do you have any kind of policy in place? So let's say I'm in your facility and absolutely nobody will hire me because I've burnt too many bridges in my life. Do you have a volunteerism component so that you're not going to be working, but you're going to be working?
Yeah, well, see, some of my girls, they've been there for a while, and they haven't been able to find jobs, so I give them community service hours, and they have to have so many hours done in the store, in the church, whatever a week if they want to go on their pass.
Okay.
So if they don't work their hours off, then they just don't get no pass that week.
And the pass, what's the pass for?
So they get 1 pass a week, 4 hours to go.
After their 30 days, they
After
get a
30 days,
46-hour
to
pass.
see their family, friends, whatever the case may
And
be.
then after 3 months, they start to get 24-hour passes.
Now, if you mentioned something, friends, if they get around their old contacts and stuff, is that a concern of yours?
Well, it's approved family and friends if we know, because we know a lot of people. It's a small world. If you're wanting to go down to the weed house down the street for your
Yeah.
pass, it's not going to happen. And we do
Right.
drug tests.
And you know where those are at.
Yep.
Yeah, because of what you've been through in the
Yeah.
past. So yeah.
So they are, and then they get
that's
drug
great.
tested when they get back too. So.
Okay.
Oh wow, really?
And we do
Alcohol and drugs.
And we
there's-
do randoms on top of that. So.
Nice.
So there's a lot of checks and balances in it.
Yeah.
This is clearly a very well planned
Yeah.
thing. It's not just something you threw together and say, hey, let's see what happens. So everything gets well, see what sticks.
Yeah.
It's not that.
I
Okay.
say trial and error, but that's in a different manner.
But you put a lot of planning and thought into this.
And
correct,
here
okay.
with the city, so if there is any community service stuff that you come across and that our residents could help with, that's something that we would be open with expanding. And I've been doing some outreach on trying to find some people to team up with us to employ some of them, and I've found a couple. So
The city is desperately needing to hire people in the sewer department.
That's We've done a few stories on that.
They've
And
been
there's more to come.
They've been
Yeah.
looking for help, from what I understand, and the people that interviewed just did not accept the rate of pay. That's what's come to me through the grapevine. So maybe there's some work there.
Yeah.
It's manual labor work, but it's work and it's honest work. So
we've got a few guys that.
So
and they're ready to just get working. They want to work. So
yeah.
You mentioned the passes. It's still voluntary. So if they just say, I don't care about your pass system, I'm going to go for the day and I'll be back this evening, that's something you could terminate them
yes.
from the program.
So we
Possibly.
100%.
Okay.
So we're kind of like on a write-up system. After so many write-ups of the same incident, they can be terminated.
Okay.
So
And
Can someone game that system?
Well, there's cardinal rules too. I mean, there are threats and
No second chance.
nonviolence.
Right.
And that we have rules that are
Yeah.
we can determine whether.
Yeah.
So 3 write-ups of the same offense, but what if I decide, I'm going to game the system, I'm going to do this thing 2 times, I'm going to do this thing 2 times, and I'm just going to keep pushing
Well,
it
there's
down and see
also
what I
a
can do.
neighboring rule we have where if you're just not cooperating with the program or taking it seriously, you can be terminated.
They can be terminated for whatever reason
Any-
that you decide.
Okay.
It's
So-
case by case, and it's got to be.
Yeah.
And then a big thing you want to see is progress. Not everybody. Some guys that I'm having a lot of issues with are still some of the guys that have made the most progress, because when they came in, they really, really needed this program. And I can't I know this.
So it's a sliding scale,
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Well, there's a lot of pain points in progress that you get to a part. I think a lot of times that a breakthrough happens for people in life whenever they're going through the biggest struggles. You know, it's because they're getting ready to have a breakthrough. So I can understand that. So, well, that's been a great talk.
I before we wrap it up, I just want to say that I learned a lot. I was not aware of how your facility was working before this broadcast. I didn't know a lot of these things, and I'm glad you guys came in, and I'm glad we got the community to hear some of this.
And if you guys ever get a hold of Scott and want to come up and do a tour of the facility, we'll gladly show you guys around and show you. We've came a long way, so.
or for anyone for that matter.
Yeah, anyone wants to tour the facility and see where their money might be going. We'll gladly show them.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm going to
awesome.
get your number before we leave and put it in my phone as well. I have Scott's. I went to school with Scott. I think he's a few years older than me, but great man.
Yeah. Yes.
And he's been talking about this for a long time, so I'm glad to see that it's up and running.
Scott and I became friends through church. So, I think he's an incredible guy. We tease each other a lot, though.
Yeah.
But, well, guys, I'm so thankful for having you on. So thankful to have you in our community as well. I'm thankful for the recovery you guys have had. Because wow, what a story. I've watched your story on Facebook too, and I mean, you shared your mugshots and everything on Facebook, and it's just really impressive. I'm really, and I know you don't take any glory from this at all. It's not you that I'm impressed with what has happened in your life. Yeah. God has really done a lot of really awesome things in your life, and I'm just really impressed by it. So I'm glad you went through it, because now you're helping other people. So it's awesome.
And I do have another question. What is your personal support system? I mean, I know you've shared with us where you're at, and it sounds like you're very, you're very well grounded at this point. But everybody has problems. Everyone needs someone to turn to. Is that Scott? And
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
Scott and I've got a couple mentors out of Indiana that I can go to, but between Scott and two other guys, and then the Lord, of course. But,
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, we sometimes it does get almost overwhelming, and you have to have somebody to go to, because it is a lot. It's or like I said, I quit my job. We went this direction, and we're all in, but.
Takes a lot of faith.
It takes a lot of faith. There's a lot of work to be done, and we need a lot of help. And the Lord's providing that help. But
Well, I would encourage everyone watching to get in touch with you all and find out how they can help, whether it's
Yes, please.
monetarily, offer a job offer,
Even transportation.
If you want to
that's a huge
send
help too.
$1, send $1. But if you want to send $10,000, somebody out there watching is thinking about it.
We need a
Send
van.
$10,000.
We need a 15-passenger van. That would be a huge, a huge
the
blessing.
one you have now, is it running? Is it working?
That one was actually donated to us by his aunt and uncle, and then their car broke down, so they are now using the van.
I see.
But
So how are you doing transportation right now?
Personal vehicles.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anyone in the community that will help. Mass transit also, but mass transit only.
Rides and mass transit.
Only medical appointments is all they'll transport to.
Oh, really?
Any of the car sales people out there that know me or Jeffrey, if you happen to go to one of these auctions and see a good opportunity on a 15-passenger van, and you want to do some good stuff, maybe purchase it at wholesale and donate it to the center. That would be a great thing. Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Drop ship a case of paper towels or toilet paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they go through it quick.
Yeah.
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 I'm like, what are you guys doing with this stuff?
It's not the same when they're in prison. They have to ration that stuff.
Yeah, they only get
now they
one
get
roll.
out, and it's it's a little bit more liberal
It's a
usage.
luxury.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys have anything else you want to add before we end the talk?
Nope. Thank you guys for having us. And
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for coming
So-
on, and maybe we'll have you back in the near future. How far are you out from 7 months?
We opened in October.
Okay.
So very close.
So maybe after
May.
you get your first people who are graduating
Yep.
and moving on, come back and tell us how that's going.
Yeah. So
So we're gonna have a graduation ceremony in April for the girls because that's when we're gonna stop that. So then 7 months will be May. So
Okay.
awesome. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, The Local Lens, Lawrenceville Unfiltered. Hit the notification bell so you'll get notified when we post up a new episode. And please share this episode on all of your social media profiles. Help this young couple to get this incredible ministry. You know, it's already launched, but help them. You know,
Help
send them
to
some
make
money.
it successful.
Share. You know, pray, whatever. We appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Until next time. Peace out. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I'm gonna have to come over and visit you sometime. I didn't know that's